A year ago today, I was in Crestone, living in a nice apartment in the middle of town with my boyfriend, Bradford Strain. He was very close to getting us into therapy, and by that I mean him agreeing to take therapy, initially as couple therapy, and I talked him into doing it himself, but that I drive. It's his idea, actually. I don't know if it was to dissuade and have more time lapse between us actually getting him to a therapist, but we'll never know. I found this picture of him with this like a second and a half video where he was messing with one of my phones and accidentally took a picture of himself and recorded himself. It's one of my favorite pictures of him. He looked really rugged, very intelligent and rugged. And he was wearing my Led Zeppelin shirt that Eva gave me. I put lots of makeup on my face to make sure I didn't cry. I've been doing that a lot lately. Girls, if you want to stop yourself from bursting into tears randomly, wear a lot of makeup on your face, because you will look gnarly if you can't control yourself and cry. And for those that don't like smoking cigarettes, I don't usually smoke cigarettes, sure as hell not on my channel, but for those that do, here in Mexico they got these Pall Mall, Tokyo and Hawaii things. It's like eating candy, smoking candy. Not one, but two little poppy balls. What I just demonstrated was a way to ground. Bring yourself in the here and now. Smell something minty. And don't ruin your makeup. I don't stop myself from crying about Kyle. Just right now I want to, because this isn't about the emotion that's self-evident. It's what I'm learning from it and how I'm moving forward in hopes that it helps somebody else. I've been under grace since about mid-March. And for from about mid-December, no, late December, from like December 20th through about mid-March. Well, not really. On and off, I guess. I was under a delusion that was a distraction that God used to move me in a different direction. I know it was God because I was coming from my heart, and from that place, it's God allowing it to be utilized to move me quickly and without extreme pain. Because, as I was telling my friend Dublis, because he's concerned about, he has alternative motives, but he's concerned about my grief. I won't go so far as to say he's telling me to get over it, but he comes from a very different background than me. A lot of death in his family due to violence, so he's Salvadorian, and he came up during the time that he's 52, so it was a bad time when he was a child in Salvador. And when God puts us in these places of pain. The very least we can do is honor the sacrifice. However it got there. And really learn something. At the very least, you gotta learn something. Well, I tend to learn a lot. Because this level of pain occurred in only 8 months, they say. Really 7, because 1 month we weren't together. Towards the end, none of that was evident to me. I was stuck in a bad place. Because all my triggers got triggered, and it showed how much shadow work I still had to do. But the reason it hit so hard is because words are powerful. And where in a normal dating situation, you slowly get to know each other, and it's years before you get X amount of information about the other. Well, I can't pretend to know what a normal relationship is. I've just heard from friends, heard from books. All the information that we gave each other, the overshare, and the cluster fucking in the sense of both fucking and lovemaking, but God, in regards to that intimacy that comes where you're sitting there in each other's arms and you're just talking. It was like a staycation that I am now I was grateful for it then, but thoroughly grateful for it now. Because the amount of talking that we did, and the amount of exploring that we did, and the amount of future creating that we did, I've never had before. Never once was somebody that open to discuss vulnerability, that open to discuss future plans. And if your mind experiences it, it believes it happened. So the biggest gift that made me so certain that regardless of whatever hissy fits we would have, we would always come back together, became this deep well of pain. Because things had been instigated to show that it wasn't just a dream. It was a beginning foundation for a future together. So the pain and the shadow work, the cost of that pain was the future that at 45 I'd never been able to literally articulate with another in such detail. Everything from what the house would look like, what the surrounding area of the house would look like, what would happen to, he had property there, and just be on the property and then create, to come up with the way to finance it, the way to make it help the ultimate goal, which was, and I know everybody says this, a healing center at the end of our lives, though. Retirement. That was the retirement plan. Was to make these little casitas, which would give me the gift of being able to finally build as I went. But we were also talking about getting the restaurant going, and he would get his construction thing continuing with that. So what happened? Addiction happened. And to realize as an addict. I should have known better, but I believed him. So I was looking at mental issues and how to work around that instead of looking at addiction. So moving forward, I can in no way, shape, or form negate the fact that if there's addiction, and if I interplay in that in any way, shape, or form, or allow it in my space or in my body, that will equal out to death. Whether he really did take his own life, or whether that black guy, empty safe, sunglasses on his face, all that says something else happened. Regardless, the percentage of that happening, if there had been no addiction involved, well, that goes without saying that he'd still be breathing. So I can't, nor will I, should I, or in any way, be able to not see that as death now. Does that include this? Sure. Am I ready to give this up? No. Nor will I push myself to until I have reestablished or established better tools for me to move forward. Today's his birthday. I will not begrudge me some nicotine that tastes like sugar. And maybe it's the addict in me talking, but I still understand that a glass of wine is not going to dictate my existence, but a bottle a day, that will by and by. So for shadow work, how do we begin again with all the new to work through? Get a notebook. And run around your day, notebook nearby, and listen to your judgments in your head, whether towards yourself or others. And you can't control your thoughts per se as yet. An undisciplined mind is capture those thoughts once they occur, knowing that thoughts happen too fast to stop. But once they occur, you can capture them. Be the observer of yourself, of your existence. And whenever you hear a judgment, whether towards yourself or others, write it down in parentheses and then say, where did that come from? It might be extremely uncomfortable. But if you understand that the wages of sin will be death, as your caliber of how important it is to do this or not, burn it afterwards if you have issues with privacy and you feel that someone's going to use it against you. But write it down, get it out of you. Today I judged myself in this way. Where did it come from? judge myself or others because of this wound. Or if you don't get an answer, make the time, and it has to be up to an hour, to sit in silence, no phone, no distractions of any kind. And if that means getting up in the middle of the night and going in the bathroom and sitting in your tub, then so be it. If it's important to you, to best direct your life as humanly possible, you have to control and start training your mind as best as possible. And nothing's going to be 100%, but it's going to take a hell of a lot of training. Within an hour, something will come up. Take the morsel or take the meal that comes up and just take it in and make that blind spot, that shadow spot, come alive. Bring it into the light. Own it, label it, and make adjustments. And that's it for today. The beginning of shadow work. I'm doing it to relieve guilt, to relieve that ache that keeps saying, what if? And maybe I coulda. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. If only. Have a good day. Talk to you guys soon.